Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote, in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, well, first off, consider becoming one because it's September and you can save money by becoming a subscriber. The tea is here. Welcome to the tea. Or if that's not something you're interested in doing, you can always just put in any old emote or just say hi. Lashbrook is here. What's up, Lashbrook? Happy to have you here. Welcome, friends. Excited for tonight. Tonight's agenda is, of course, working on the Strike Noir. We have done the head, we have done the body, we have done the arms. We're going to be doing the shoulders so we can complete the top half of the kit. Then we're moving on into the legs after that, starting with the feet, working our way up. Yeah, I think that's as far as we're going to get tonight. We still have to do the backpack and the weapons. This kit has, well, the weapons are also kind of part of the kit. So, because it's like the wings have weapons on them, so it's not like there's not like a lot to do as far as the weapons go. Also, the kit does of course have dual pistols, which is just a silly thing to have on a Gundam. Hey, Aristovan is here. Hello, Aristovan. Happy to have you here. Yeah, as people are coming in, feel free to throw those emotes in the chat or just say hi. It was a lovely day with a nice breeze, so we don't have the air conditioning on. Instead, the windows are open, which means this room is particularly warm. So that's fun, because I got this big honking computer running here. So yeah, so there's that. Let's see. Tonight we will be, of course, working on this model kit, the Strike Noir. We will be chatting. I will be telling you to go check out the game developers of Color Expo, which is kicked off today with its kind of like indie showcase, and it's really for real happening this weekend. You should check that out. I'll probably mention that at the end of the stream again. Primarily, the thing I want to talk about is the Nintendo Direct. There are, of course, anime and manga as well. We'll be chatting about those things, but I really do just want to talk about the highs and lows of the Nintendo Direct that happened today. Because holy shit, the T says that Nintendo Direct was a roller coaster, and I agree. Also, all three anime I'm going to talk about tonight all had their final episodes of the season, and at least one, the series. I definitely feel like one is not going to get a second season, so we'll talk about those in the second hour, of course. And of course, if other things come up, like, I don't know, like I don't have much to say about last night's AEW show, except that weird. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega was a really good match. Weird. Weird how that was a really good match. Those two excellent wrestlers wrestled and did a good job. I am announcing that I will be excited for this Nintendo Direct on October 12th. Yes, that is like the first thing. We'll get into that, how there are more Nintendo Directs coming soon. Basically, the first piece of the Nintendo Direct was, hey, here are two games we won't talk about today. They're getting their own directs in the future. Please enjoy those. Which is great, because if they didn't mention that, then there would be a contingent of fans throughout the entire direct just being like, when are they going to talk about the game I want them to talk about? Why didn't they talk about the game I want them to talk about? That was definitely one of the best Omega matches since he left New Japan. Yes, it is by far one of his best matches in the past few years. I do think that his the tag match he had with Paige when they won the titles was really good, but especially for singles, this one was fantastic. All right, let me go retweet my tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us tonight. Didn't quite have the numbers I would have loved last night. I look, there were people who watched, and I'm grateful there are people who watched when I talk for over 2 hours just about anime. I'm grateful to have anybody come. So that was really nice. But it was particularly like, you know, it's tough. So I was glad there's some people there, but I would have loved a few more people last night. That's okay. And that's all right. Hopefully more people will join us tonight as well as we get into this. Let's go to the overhead. We're working on the shoulders, and I'm just going to go through. This will be out of order somewhat because I don't remember exactly what happened. I was like taking notes, and then I was like, oh, I should rewrite these notes because they don't make any sense. Okay, so we're going to work on shoulders here, and we can do these two at a time. So we'll start with that. Let's start with our shoulders. Okay, Animal Crossing and Smash Brothers are getting their own separate directs. So that's the only time we're going to hear those things there. They were not getting their own mentions in this direct, which honestly, it's like for Smash Brothers fans, it's like, oh, that's a bummer. For Animal Crossing fans, yes, you didn't get anything, you didn't get anything, but the promise that you will get something is actually kind of huge because a lot of people were like, are they done with Animal Crossing? And apparently they're not. So that's nice for people that are very worried about that, which I think is a reasonable fear when it comes to that Nintendo. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the two games that I've never played an entry in their series who are getting new entries in their series that people are very passionate about and very happy about. And those two games are very different from one another. One is Splatoon, and the other is Bayonetta. I have never played a Bayonetta game. I have never played a Splatoon. I'm very happy for the people that are very happy to be playing new entries in those, especially the Bayonetta folks, because look, it's got to be really tough to love Bayonetta and their future is tied to Nintendo because you have to imagine at any point that could all go away. Poochie says, hey friends, I'll be lurking for the next hour as I finish up work. Well, Poochie, I hope the rest of your work goes well. Feel free to lurk. And that is a general thought for everyone out there, general statement that while I do love seeing people in chat and I'm happy to know what you're excited about and your thoughts as I talk for 2 hours endlessly as I build. You never have to chat if you don't feel like it. You can always be a lurker. I am not hyped as I thought I would be as a big Bayonetta fan. Westbrook, I hope you get more hyped soon. I hope that as you start seeing more of it, the hype increases. Because I want you to be happy. I want Bayonetta fans to be happy. I want Splatoon fans to be happy. I hope that, things get made that you're like, this is exactly what I wanted. So, or I didn't know I wanted this, and this is great. Okay, N64 and Sega Genesis games are coming to the Switch, and there's going to be wireless controllers that are very similar to those original controllers. That is very cool. I think particularly the idea that there is going to be, like, look, I think we've all kind of gotten used to the idea that Genesis or Sega games are on a Nintendo platform, but the idea of a Genesis controller for the Switch just feels extra weird. Like it still feels weird to me that is that's a reality. Nintendo does what Nintendo, indeed. Very much so. The weird thing is they put out a bunch of Genesis games that have been released on Switch. Granted, those had added features, but yeah, I mean, like, look, we're never getting the virtual, we're never getting that virtual console style thing again. This is how we're going to get things. We're going to get like collections and releases and remakes because we're getting that. And to jump ahead, ActRaiser's getting a remake. They're gonna it's out today. You can play a remake of ActRaiser. A truly bizarre video game. Bizarre at the time, continues to be bizarre. ActRaiser is very good. It's weird that there's a remake of ActRaiser out. Yes, Aristovan. There is a remake of ActRaiser. Too big. The Too Big. Hey, you can play this now. The T says, I have to run to the toilet, so I won't be able to say anything, but I'm listening in. Thank you, the T, for that update. I appreciate it. I really don't care for the ActRaiser remake art style. I mean, I don't love it. I think I could get used to it, but I'm just happy that it exists. Yes, so a big announcement was, and you can play it today. There were two, and you can play it today. And those were ActRaiser and the Castlevania Advance Collection, which is the three Castlevania Advance games, whose names I did not write down, but you know, or you can look them up. That's also available now, which is fucking cool. It's cool as hell. It's I don't know. I just think that's fucking awesome. Um, both those things are out, and that's there, and you could play it today. I just think that's very neat. Let's see what else we got. So I am, as a person that plays a card game literally every day, a digital card game. I'm not super into like card games. So I don't particularly have any like strong interest in Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars, except that Yoko Taro is making it and it comes out next month. So I will be able to hear more of it soon. But like the idea of the game doesn't really do anything for me. The name is pretty great. Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars. That's a pretty great, badass name. And it's a Yoko Taro game. And look, I just like that Yoko Taro keeps making stuff. Like, that's good. Please keep making stuff, Yoko Taro. So that's neat. Let's see what we got. Hey, Square Enix is making a Mario Kart game, but it's Chocobos, called Chocobo GP, which is not an interesting name, but is a descriptive name. They're making a Chocobo racing game. That's real weird. It's a real weird thing that they were going to make. I don't know. That felt interesting to me. I would say the game that, if I had a Switch, I would be the most interested in playing of all of the games they talked about. I think it's not the first one. That's probably true, Lashbrook. But I know that there have been mini games in other Final Fantasy games. I don't know if they've had their own game. So I guess that's my thought. I don't know for sure. I apologize for not actually really knowing. But to go back to my excellent transition, the one game that I'm like, this is a game that if I had a Switch, I would be excited to play and really want to play, and that is Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is this post-apocalyptic. Is it post-apocalyptic? Is it dystopian future? Is this Kirby shows up on this area that, like, there was a mall here and there was stuff going on, and that's in the past. And now Kirby is just exploring that land, and it's a Kirby game that, like, I don't know what's going on here. It also looks like a very good 3D Mario game from like the Wii U era. That's what it really looks like to me, and I was like, what is this? What is this gonna be? It just looks like a very clever, cool looking Kirby game, and I'm very excited for it. I love Kirby. I particularly love weird Kirby games, and I don't know if this is going to be a weird Kirby or just a good Kirby. I mean, I'm much more interested when Kirby is like just just the strangest mechanics. Like Epic Yarn was just unbelievably good because it was just like, we're making a weird Kirby. We're trying stuff out. Like, even the one where you were like sucking up color and it was like a paint themed, that was still fun. It was different and weird, and I still liked it. So I'm up for some weird Kirby games. I don't have any opinion on the gameplay, and I don't care about at all Triangle Strategy, except that was the temp name for the game, and now it's not, because people were just like, just fucking call it. Look, hey, cowards. Just call it Triangle Strategy, you cowards. And apparently, that's now the name of the game, which is, to be fair, looks like Kirby Odyssey. I think that's an excellent way to look at it. Yeah, to me, it felt a little bit more like, like a 3D Kirby, like, Mario 3D kind of a thing. Like Mario Land 3D or something. But yes, Odyssey is a way to look at that. Triangle Strategy, to be clear, I don't think is a good name for a video game. But it is the name they're going with, and I applaud them for going with their bad name. Because I just think it's bad. The T says, okay, I'm back. And yeah, no Kirby game has ever been in 3D like that before. They were all 2.5D. Yeah, totally. Also regarding Chocobo GP, Chocobo Racing is a long-running game series. It goes back to the PS1. See, I thought it was always just part of other Final Fantasy games. I didn't realize it was his own thing. So there you go. Triangle Strategy is a cute name for the game. Not too obtuse. Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't think it's a great name, but I do think that if you're going to do well, this is what we're going to temporarily, what we're going to call it, and then people are like, I mean, come on. Then yeah, you should keep it. All right, so we are now doing the, gonna get our shoulders here. So this is going to be B17 is going to be this. I have liquid cement here because I have been told that the little gold pieces we're going to be putting in this don't like to stay. So we will be prepared to basically augment this with a little liquid cement if we got to. So we're going to put this there. We got to put that there. We got to do G4. And then we got to do a bunch of the A pieces. So, and of course we'll have to do it all over again. But for now, let's just get this going here. G4? G4. That's H. I was like, that doesn't seem right, because it isn't. This is right. There we go. That makes more sense. Those were my attempts at triangle puns. Yes, not obtuse, just right. I do, Aristovan, I did get those jokes. They didn't register in my head as full jokes. I apologize, but I should have acknowledged them. Is triangle jokes. Anyway, back to talking about these things. 3 GBA Castlevania games, ActRaiser, they are puns, not full jokes. There you go. Okay, so look, we have to talk about the Mario animated movie that's coming holiday 2022. We have to talk about that. Also, I'm a huge fan of ActRaiser and plan to stream it at some point. Waiting to hear if ActRaiser Renaissance is any good, though. Yep, I hear you. I think that you'll get a review at some point from people that know what's going on about it. So yeah, I'm sure that there'll be some people giving their thoughts. Okay, so this is going to go in here. This is going to snap in. I wonder if I should do the gold pieces first or second. We'll figure this out. We got to talk about this animated Mario movie. Like we unfortunately have to talk about it. There's going to be an animated Mario movie, and the U.S. release, they just hired a bunch of actors. And look, here's the thing: work is work. Actors are actors. They can do the job. They can do what they need to do. I'm not saying that movie stars can't be voice actors and can't do the work. I am saying it is a skill. And there are talented voice actors out there that are incredible and do a fantastic job. And there are Hollywood talents that don't know how to emote with just their voice in a vocal in a studio in a vocal booth, that are used to expressing themselves with their whole bodies and don't do an incredible job as a voice actor. Also, sometimes when you're bringing big talent like that, you are not giving them proper instruction, because they're giving like proper, like, oh, you're like you're an actor, well, here's this, but they are expecting something a little different, and they're not going to get that thing that they're looking for. That's my opinion on it. So when I talk to you about Mario is Chris Pratt, like, I don't, beyond my feelings on Chris Pratt the human, the person Chris Pratt, which are negative feelings. They are negative feelings about that man. Beyond that, that's just a weird choice. It's just, I think, a weird bad choice. Um, I legit can't decide which is worse: Chris Pratt doing bad Mario impression or Chris Pratt just using his normal ass voice for Mario. Yeah, I think either will sound bad. With that voice cast, it feels like they don't have a confidence in the project. Some stuff like, you can make a Mario anime movie, but you need some big name stars. Yeah, like, I wonder if Nintendo was prepared for the entire internet during dunking on this. I'm sure they were. I'm sure they know. Like, hey, here's the thing. To me, there's a big difference between Detective Pikachu being voiced by Ryan Reynolds and Pikachu being voiced by Ryan Reynolds, right? Like, there exists a world where there's a version of Mario voiced by Chris Pratt that doesn't seem bizarre. Like, I don't know. Let's say for instance, perhaps there exists a world where Dr. Mario is not the same character as Mario. Chris Pratt as Dr. Mario, to me, doesn't sound as bad or weird as the idea of Chris Pratt as Mario. Um, but yeah, like Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu, a Pikachu, not the Pikachu, doesn't seem that weird comparatively. That's just my opinion on that particular idea. I don't know. Also, no one is talking about this, but Jack Black is a really weird choice. Like, I don't think pure jokey Bowser is going to work. So here's the thing: Jack Black is the thing about Jack Black is he's incredibly funny, incredibly talented, but also Jack Black is an actor and Jack Black doesn't have to be funny. So there's a total chance that this Bowser won't be comic relief. They just went with a big voiced big man for the role. I don't know. I do particularly believe that. Let me run through this. Let me run through the names just so we have it out there. Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi. That's pretty all right. Jack Black as Bowser, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. So Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong feels like first off, I'm also weirded out by Donkey Kong talking at all. Yeah, first off, Seth Rogen should be Funky Kong. Let's all admit that if you're gonna have him be a Kong, he should be Funky Kong, because Funky Kong definitely laughs like Seth Rogen laughs. Um, like definitely that if my head, if you told me that like, oh, here's a recording of Funky Kong laughing, uh, I would be like, oh, you mean Seth Rogen's laugh? But also, clearly, we all know this to be true. The best version of Bowser that exists, and I tweeted about this, I'm repeating myself. The best version of Bowser that exists in any media is concerned, trying his best dad Bowser. It is the videos that play on Nintendo consoles of like, hey, keep an interest in what your kids play, and here are parental tools. And it's just Bowser playing games with with Bowser Jr. That's the best Bowser. That is also Bowser who has Peach as his like background image on his phone, which is weird. But that's the best Bowser, and that's Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen has tried his best single dad energy, way more than Jack Black does. So the thing is, Bowser is usually just sound effects, but he did have a real voice in Mario Sunshine, and it was also where he is very much a dad. Yeah, I mean, like, so Jack Black as Bowser, I think could be okay. I don't have a problem with that. Um, Charlie Day as Luigi, I'm going to quote the ever knowledgeable Voidburger on the Giant. I did not watch the Giant Bomb watch along, but I did hear this clip of it, to which when it was announced that it was Charlie Day as Luigi, Voidburger said, "That's funny, but fuck off," which is how I feel about most of these announcements. Like, um, they I'm trying to get this little piece in, and I can't, and I don't know why, and I'm trying both sides, and I can't, and I don't know why, and I want it to work. I'm going to trim it a little bit here, but I might just have to force it in and then put some liquid cement on it, but I don't know. So Charlie Day, you haven't watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Um, that's the only thing I can say. Yeah, the T. So you have so that's Charlie Day is the brain. I mean, very, very fine people in that show. Charlie Day is the breakout of that. So yeah, and he's been in other things, but that is, yeah, you have not seen anything. Well, there you go. Charlie Day as Luigi is like a fun choice. It's not the best choice, I think, but it's a fun one. And I'd rather have some fun choices than really boring choices. Yeah, he's also in Pacific Rim. Once, but honestly, I don't really love it, and I don't know who he played it. Okay, well, there you go, the T. Yeah, he was good. He was good in Pacific Rim. Um, let's see. So, yeah, uh, yeah, he was the weird scientist guy, and he was good in that because it was like a manic, frantic role. He did a good job in it. Okay, does this one want to fit in? Neither of these really. Okay, this did fit in, so that's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these other pieces on. And then right before I close all this up, I'm going to hit the insides here with some liquid cement to try to seal in these gold pieces here. These like gold accents, which will hopefully keep it all together when it dries. I don't often use liquid cement on kits like this, but it feels very important for this. Otherwise, I feel like these things are just going to pop off if I don't. So in this particular instance, I will be doing that. Uh, yes, Charlie Day feels like a good voice for like Luigi's Mansion Luigi, like that Luigi, that particular like oh no, oh I'm in over my head, I'm doing bad, I'm doing this is a bad choice. I've made some bad decisions. Luigi like that. That's what I feel like Charlie Day brings to the table in a good way. I have said zero about Keegan Michael Key as Toad. It's a weird choice, but I don't dislike it. I definitely don't dislike this choice. I think it's kind of interesting. Um, to me, it's like the most outlandish, but like good. It's like very solid casting. That is my particular opinion on that. Okay, so this is gonna go goes like where? How does this work? Okay, it goes around this. Okay, sorry, I'm like trying to figure out how these components go on, and I don't know. So this looks like this. This has got to go here. Nope. How does this connect? How does it work? How does it do it? Like really? Hmm. Hmm. Uh. Well, the T. You should watch Key and Peele. The T. You should definitely go back and watch Key and Peele because Key and Peele fucking rules. Uh. Just in okay. I mean, it just incredible. I don't think Keanu the movie is good. That's the movie where they are uh, dudes that are trying to save a cat named Keanu. It's not great. I mean, it was made under no with no money, but it's not great. But yeah, Keegan Michael Key is fucking fantastic. Very talented dude. All right, so okay, what's the middle one that goes in here? I'm sorry, folks. I'm having trouble here. Once I get this, I'll be able to do the other one real fast. But for whatever reason, I can't get, I can't figure out where this is supposed to line up and how this is supposed to work. Let me look at the image. Look at this photo here. So this looks like this, and is this up? Hmm. Nope. It doesn't go there. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. That looks right, but then it doesn't line up. Oh no, it does line up. Okay. Hmm. All right, while I'm here, I gotta put a little liquid cement on this to try to get these gold pieces to stay in place, and then we'll try to get there. I did not find it was something called Home Movie: The Princess Bride, which might be something I need to watch. A recreation of the film where everybody was isolated from COVID. Yes, yeah, that I watched most of it, and it's a really fun thing. It's a fun interpretation, and like a charming way to do that story. I felt. Um, to do that kind of thing. Yeah, it was like a table read, and then some people went nuts with it. Okay, so why can't I attach these things properly? I just can't, and I don't know why. Speaking of people who suck, who are in the movie I could have done without Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Yeah, I'm kind of done with Fred in many, many ways. Just in general, don't really need Fred Armisen in this movie or in my life in any shape or form. Just kind of don't need Fred around. Um, okay, so I did something weird when I built this one. I guess I must have done something weird on these because yeah, okay, maybe that did it. If this is up, will it work? I don't know. Nope, that's not connected then. I'm sorry, folks. I'm having a lot of trouble with these shoulders, and I don't know why. Like, I just don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Um, but I'm going to try to figure it out. Yeah, this just doesn't line up right. Fuck. The fuck? Put these down like that. Then these go in like this. Then I did this part. And they should just lock into place on both sides. And they should be able to rotate. They should be able to move. So it goes in like this, and then it can go up and down. But there's no good way for them to do that. Don't know why there's no good way for them to do that. Did I put these in wrong? Damn it. Don't stress. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. Like, this is right. This okay, so we'll take a step back. So this is gonna go like this. Yeah, and then these go in. This goes in like this. And is that the right way? Maybe they're on upside down. Is that it? Did I put these on upside down? If I did that, then maybe that makes sense. If I put them like this, okay, then if I put them like this, is that right? Well, then I will I be able to do that? No, that doesn't seem right either. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is gonna go like up. This goes that. Maybe that's it. If I put up like that, then can I do it? Yes. Okay. All right. I had assembled. This is right. And now it can move up and down together. Okay. I figured it out. It was very frustrating. I had put this should not be like this to start. They have to be up and then they can come down. So it's got to go like that and then they slide in. Great. Okay. So now when I do this other one, I'll do it right. I'm still going to have to fiddle with the gold parts there, but I at least figured out what I'm supposed to do this time. So that's nice. You know what I'm curious about? I want to hear the Japanese voice of Mario. Oh, also Charles Martinet is going to make guest voices in the American version, which he should, and they definitely need to put him in that movie. He's going to do cameos, and I hope the cameo is the post-credit scene was just Wario just going wah, and that's it. And I hope that's it. It's just like, and then rides a motorcycle, and it's just Wario where Wario riding off on a motorcycle, because that's nonsense in a way that I would think would be great. All right, so that was 6 goes on this side, 5 goes on the other side. Um, yeah, so that's basically it. I don't think that there's any good reason for me to be very excited about that Mario movie. That's the Nintendo Direct. I think that's everything. It will be a cameo of Mario in a video game. Okay. Uh, Pratt Mario go, I sound like that? Yeah, I could see maybe that being it. All right. Game Developers of Color Expo is happening. And you should check that out this weekend. The showcase was on their YouTube channel that went today, so you can watch that. You're going to see really cool, weird, experimental stuff, great things by excellent people, really hype shit that you should definitely check out. As far as video games go, other video games that I am playing right now, I just started literally tonight getting the Car Loser, which is free on Steam and Itch. Please get it. It's free. It's Christine Love's new game. It's free, as I said. It is a like turn-based RPG with visual novel style cutscenes. You are ladies in a car on a road trip to save the world. It is very gay on purpose, and it is great so far. I literally played 20 minutes of it, and I was like, I love this so much. So I would say go check that out because it's out. And as I said, fucking free. So feel free to go see that or go get that game. Look, you know me. I don't mind getting on my soapbox. In fact, part of me fucking craves getting on my soapbox. It is a thing that I am not obliged. Yes, it is free. I'm not obliged to get on my soapbox, but I often do get on my soapbox. There's no such thing as good cryptocurrency. There's no such thing as good crypto. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as one particular performer put it today. I'm not. It's crypto, but it's not douchey. Yes, it is. If it's crypto, then it's douchey. So Felicia Day put out a thing today that she is doing like basically a cryptocurrency rewards thing for fans. She's not going to do a Patreon. She's not going to do a hey dirty welcome. She's not going to do a Fansly. Fansy. She's not going to do Ko-Fi. If you want to support her, the way to support her is to join this new what just like by description feels like a fucking scam thing where you get like rewards. You get rewards and you get discounts, and it's this whole thing, and it's fucking powered by the blockchain and looks like it fucking sucks. And it's an instant unfollow. It's not a block, it's an instant unfollow. I don't know her personally. I have friends who know her very well and like her. And I'm sure someday this will happen to me, right? This will happen to me where someone I actually genuinely know and like will be like, I'm doing an NFT or I'm doing crypto. I did have a friend who I've not talked to in many years who is big on NFTs, and I just unfollowed them, and it has not become a problem, but someday it will. But I've certainly had people that I respect, genuinely and truly respect, doing like, we're doing this thing. And it's like, well, that sucks. But this one is a bummer because also Felicia Day could elevate a small site. So say she doesn't want to use Patreon. She doesn't have to use Patreon. She could use something else and elevate that and put a spotlight on that and encourage other people. Like, look, big names like her going to other sites would encourage more people to move off of Patreon, which I use, obviously, as you know. But one of the main reasons I haven't left Patreon is because it is a site that people have already given their credit cards to and haven't left. So it makes, it's one of those things where it's just like, well, instead of starting over, I'm just going to stick with it until I hit the point where so many people have left it that I have to start a new thing, because starting a new thing does not guarantee that people will come over. Um, it is a huge disappointment because, like, I tweeted this kind of separately. Like, I would really love it if people that I respect stop fucking doing crypto and NFTs, and I stand by that statement. It is always a bummer. It was a bummer when Tony Hawk had an NFT. It's a bummer that Bret Hart had NFTs. It fucking sucks. Um, it sucks that Reggie Watts did an NFT for an art project. It blows. It sucks. It's shitty. I hate it. Um, it sucks when streamers are like, "Oh, I've got a crypto coin thing now," and it's just like, that sucks. It all sucks, and I hate all of it, and I wish it wasn't there, and I don't know what else to say about it except that it's disappointing, and I hope she fucking stops doing it. I hope she goes, "This didn't work. Sorry, everybody. I'll do better next time." You know, everybody's got to make the decisions that's right for them. Uh, Especially, she's a mom. She's got to look out for a family. I get that. I respect that. I understand it. But she's wrong in this fucking instance. 100% wrong. I'm not giving up on that shit. I think it sucks. I think crypto fucking blows and it's shitty. And I wish that she wasn't doing it. Wow, this was a vibe switch from the Nintendo Direct I just watched. Yes, Dirty. I'm sure it was. We did talk about the Nintendo Direct as well, but we also got a little yelly. Uh, well, more people were psyched about some of the end of our conversation about the Nintendo Direct, where we started talking about how, you know, Chris Pratt is the fucking voice of Mario. We did get a little negative there, but I would say I was pretty positive about other things in Nintendo Direct. Uh, that Kirby game looks fucking rad as shit. Jesus Christ, that looks cool. Like, yeah, there's stuff to be excited about, but also, yeah, it was also like, and then also there's this thing. I don't know. I was excited about some things in the direct. Um, Now's the point in the stream where I change. Look, like I said, I got preachy there. I don't love that all the time. I think we're just going to talk about some manga as I finish these shoulders, and then I'm getting ready uh, to do some panel lining on them as we're done here. There's not a lot of panel lining to do, really. It's just the red of the under here. But I do need to also talk about some manga that I've been reading. I've been reading some stuff here, some action stuff, and we'll talk about that there. I got to bring up my Nightbot command. Make sure. I just always have to make sure. Let's see. Ooh, did I? I didn't update my manga list. Okay, so I got to update my manga list just as it is. Uh, Sorry, I thought I had updated it in Nightbot, but I didn't. So the Voidburger Macho Man stuff at the beginning was great. Uh, okay, so here is the manga we'll be talking about on this stream, which is not the same command. I can't speculate, Lashbrook. Cannot speculate about any of that. Do not know. Will not say. She does great work and it's cool. Um, but I don't anything about anybody being part of that. A lot of it now it comes down to who is available, who can be there, who can get on there with people being out for various things, including being a dad, a second dad. Uh, Dad squared. Um, I hear you, the T. I hear you. Personal interaction sometimes can cloud your opinions. Not cloud. Cloud is the wrong word. Can influence your opinions on people, and it is hard to change those once that has happened. Cloud was the wrong word, and I apologize for using it there. But they can influence and clearly direct your opinions about people. Sometimes one. Hey, look. Here's the thing. I'm fucking not above being petty about shit. Sometimes people say a thing and you're just like, well, we're done here. And maybe years later, you're like, that wasn't too bad, actually, or I was probably in a bad mood that day. But other times, it's just like, no, we're done here. I said good day. Sometimes you just say good day to things, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Never had a problem with sometimes you just want to be like, and we're done here. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, we're done here. I'm okay with that. Because sometimes being petty is all you fucking have, and you might as well be petty. All right. Let's get these arms on here. I got to talk about I got to talk about manga here. A second time for an otherworld summoning, I should say. He's the first thing we're going to talk about here. So, basically, our main character, our dude, before the manga even started, he got summoned, and then he got summoned to this world, and he defeated the Demon King, saved the world. Everyone's psyched about it. Great job, dude. But the king was like, oh, wait, you defeated the Demon King. You might take over the country. Who's going to stop you? You defeated the Demon Lord. So even though he was going to stay and he was planning on staying in that world, he gets sent back to his own world. They're just like, anyway, you got to go. So he gets forcibly sent back to his world, which he did not want. And when he gets sent back there, he is reincarnated. So he doesn't even get to restart his life. He is reincarnated. And you're like, that's weird. That's a weird choice. Well, it's a necessary choice because he's been reincarnated and he grows up and he goes to high school and he's got like powers, but he doesn't use them for anything. And he's like, this is weird. Anyway, his whole class gets isekai'd. So he's back in that world. And he's like, immediately just like, why is this king summoning people again? We already won. And he's like, oh, people are restless and the humans are looking to, take advantage. They're looking to use these people as tools. So he's like, all right, well, I'm out of here. And even though I look different, people will know who I am. And he's just going to go and solve all the problems on his own. Like that is his big thing. It's like, I'm just going to travel, solve all these problems, help the couple people that I like in this thing, and we'll go there. You can't really go back to your old body once Truck Chan summons you to another world. Fair, dirty. That's the thing, right? So I was pretty sure that he was summoned the first time. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember, but I thought he was summoned so he had the same body and he wasn't like reincarnated in that world. I thought he was summoned because they summoned him again, but I may be wrong. But anyway, when he went back, he got reincarnated. But then this time he got summoned, so he's in his new body. And he's just going to fix it. I would say that a second time for an Otherworld summoner is fine. There's literally a better version of it in that I'm going to talk about. One of the other stories that I read, I think, is actually a better version of that same thing. So it was fine. I didn't particularly love it, but I didn't hate it. All right, we're going to move on. I have to fix these because the shoulders are still weird, but they're better than they were. I'll fix those at another time. Let's move on to... the merchant hero takes control of another world. So immediately we start with the smartest king in any fantasy thing, because here's the thing, right? It's a trope in isekai that if you get summoned, sometimes you have a skill that isn't immediately recognized as being an important skill, which is a way to get you removed from the regular track so you can go out on your own world. Like if you get summoned by a king, then it's like, okay, well, that's that story. We don't want to tell the story. We want to tell a different story where you break away and do your own thing, right? So he comes, he's got the cultivation skill. Anything he plants will grow really fast. And the king is like, well, that's not good for war, but that is very good for solving our food shortage. So you can have a plot of land, you can make crops, and then we'll collect them and you get a salary. And our main character is like, great, that sounds excellent. And he doesn't tell the king, I can grow anything by planting it, like money, like gold coins. He can get like vines of gold coins if he plants those. He can get, hey, he got himself a mithril sword. He can plant that mithril sword and then have a whole mess of mithril swords. So he's secretly doing that because his plan is, I'm going to eventually leave this home and disappear, because once the king finds out that that's actually what my power does, then I'm trapped in servitude forever, just making supplies for the king, which he doesn't want to do. He also hires a adventurer to be his bodyguard basically the whole time, like, and in like a basically his employee for life. And I forget her name. I didn't write her name down, but her nickname is the Weapon Killer because she's so strong that weapons that she uses break all the time. So she's like known for like getting a sword, using it for a bunch, and then that sword breaks, and it's like, well, now you need new weapons, and she's in debt, and it's a whole thing. And she's like a fun, plucky support character, backup character in the show. But he's her perfect like supporter because he can like make a whole field of weapons for her, so she never has to like worry about it. And it's a kind of a fun play on the trope. I stopped reading it at some point. He was like really focused on getting a business together and finding people to like, I don't know, like run his store, and I was like, I don't love this. So it wasn't particularly great. I do think the premise is interesting, and so I was excited about that. But I think overall, it wasn't like a great story or a great book. So I'm not like keen to continue reading it. But I did like that treatment of it, the story. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Okay, here's a fun take on it that has some real problematic elements, but like there's a good story there. We're going to talk about both parts of this, how there's a good story and also it's problematic. Self-proclaimed ordinary demon's heroic life, the result of him creating a cheat dungeon, even though he's supposedly a B-grade demon. So it's your basic strong guy from the boonies, doesn't realize how strong he is. He goes to like a school and everyone is incredibly surprised that he's so good. The twist is that he is a demon, but demons aren't evil in this. Maybe they are to consider to be humans. He's an imp, so he doesn't even really look like a strong demon. And there's like a lot of like weird like, well, we can't really talk about why he's so strong and what his village is like, but he's really strong there. So that's kind of fun. It's like there's a whole thing about exploring dungeons and all that, and like there's a lot of very fun characters, including like the vampire princess, who is from this long bloodline of vampires, pure vampires, who was like very cool. And there's like some adventurers that are fun in it. Really fun support characters. There's like the guy who should be the class bully can't be the class bully because our main character just wanted to make, like, the reason he came to school was everyone in his village is way older than him. He's the only kid in the village. So he was like, this guy, he didn't understand this dude was, well, he understood this dude was picking on him. And he was like, oh, you're the classic, like, putting people down to make yourself feel better type. I didn't even think that was real. And it just doesn't work. And this dude is like, becomes basically tsundere. Like, he goes from being a bully to being like, well, that doesn't work, and this guy's stronger than me. So he's just like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, you do want to hang out with me. And it's like cute. The part where that stops being cute is the whole part about chains of domination. So there's this whole part of a main part of the story is breaking the chains of domination. Our main character is so strong that he inadvertently takes control of two of the girls. One who's like a kind of soft-spoken, kind of animal-style character, and the vampire princess. Basically, he can order them to do things. He doesn't order them, but he can. He doesn't. He chooses not to. but he certainly could. He's not psyched about that. But if he's ever unconscious, they will immediately teleport to him. And we find that out because he wakes up and the princess is there right next to him because he fell asleep, which was him being unconscious. And so then that keeps happening every night. So she might as well just move in there. And then another girl it happens to as well, who's an upperclassman, and she's like, well, we might as well move in as also. And people are like, that's weird. And they're like, yes. And they're like, you're gonna try to fix that, right? And they're like, yes. And they're like, okay, well, nothing we can do about it. It's like, wait, what? What do you mean nothing you could do about it? There's got to be something you could do about it. So it's got a weird element that I don't love, but it is handled like, it's somewhat handled respectfully, but also played for laughs. Like at one point they go to a store and he's like, hey, they go to a furniture store and he's like, I need a big bed. And they're like, okay, well, here's one. You're a student, right? So here you go. And he's like, no. I need a bed for 3 people. And then the guy like, it doesn't go, there are circumstances. He's just like, no, I need a bed for me and these 2 people. And the guy's just like, you're in school. Like, what? And it's like, yeah, man, more people need to be like that. Everyone in class and the teacher and the principal, who's also the demon lord, are all like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, chains of dominance, what are you going to do? And it's just like, oh, what's happening here? I'm going to keep reading it because I do think that there's like the adventuring part is pretty fun and they're all working together. I think it's cool. It kind of ended on a cliffhanger where I left reading. Then I was like, ooh, I want to read more of this. But there is like, the elephant in the room is that like, hey, this is weird and not enough characters in this are properly saying how weird this part is. So, well, Poochie, I'm glad you were listening. I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Go take care of that cat. Cats do demand attention, and they must be given attention. So yeah, have a good one. Thanks for listening. Okay. The last one I want to talk to you about is a boy who has been reincarnated twice spends peacefully as a S-rank adventurer. And that is, so, hey, guess what? A guy, he got to the point where he was the best swordsman in the world. He's the sword, he's the best. He's the greatest swords master of all time. He died. He got reincarnated, and he was able to keep his memories. And he was like, this time around, I'm going to become a magician, like a magic user. I'm going to study magic because I didn't get a chance to. And he becomes the sage. And as he's dying, he's like, you know what? It was very cool to be the swords master and learn the sword. I love that. It was interesting to be the sage. I think that was great. My biggest problem is, by being the best in the world, people expect a lot from me. Like, they really want me to save the world all the time and to do dumb stuff like parades, and there's always people around me trying to, like, get stuff from me and take advantage of me or kill me. There's constantly people trying to kill me. If I get reincarnated again, this time around, I'm just going to try to, like, lay low. What if I was an adventurer? I never got to do that. I'll be strong and I can go on adventures and people won't be able to tell me what to do. So that's the premise of this. The MC, he was the best mage. He was the sword hero. And this time around, he's like, I'm going to like make friends and like do some stuff. The big problem with this is he's like 15. And it makes sense that he doesn't know everything about being an adventurer, but it also feels like he doesn't know anything about anything. Like, he doesn't have any common sense. And that feels really weird considering this is his 3rd life. Like, it's one thing to be, oh, well, I came here from another world and I don't know your customs. It's like, no, it's still the same world. There's been advances in time, but it's still the same world. So it's really weird that he doesn't know, like, anything. Yes, in his previous lives he only studied the sword, or he only studied magic. And actually, I think it was he was a mage first and then a sword saint or whatever. But it's just kind of odd that he like never learned how to do it. Like he doesn't understand like how friendship works. It takes him a while to like figure it out. Uh, and I don't love that part. But otherwise, it's fine. I would say the shows I'm talking about here are all fine. Uh, Self-proclaimed ordinary demons heroic life I think is like the best of the four that I'm talking about here, but also like has a big problem. But at least it has like a uniquely weird big problem. Whereas these other ones, I don't know. Uh, like I'm not going to keep reading probably any of these except self-proclaimed. So, um, which it's fine. I got a few other things to read that I'm going to be looking at. So, but I do like to have manga to talk to y'all about. It is nice. Anyway, uh, the feet are done here, and they require very little panel lining. I'm going to do the panel lining right now, and then we're going to take a pause for the cause. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel because that is what I like to do here. But because I don't have much panel lining to do here, I just got to do this. It's literally just this part here, and then we'll do that. We'll just kind of trace around to let it kind of pop here. But yeah, not much to do on this. When you say the feet are done here, I thought you were starting the name of another anime for your list. No, the T. The feet are done here is not a manga or an anime. Talking about the kit, but yes. The feet are done here. I don't know what that would be. I guess that would be like, I'm dead, so it doesn't matter. Oh, I tried to read that. Oof, that was not a fun thing. I thought this was a really fun premise to me. Like there is a trend in isekai. It's not a big trend. It's a minor of the trends, but it is the hey Panda Fighter. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome. A trend where it's like I am I worked for the Demon Lord and they kicked me out. So now I'm working with the humans, or vice versa. It's actually more common. And this one I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically like the guy who was considered to be the weakest of like the four, of the four like heavenly demons or whatever, ends up like because he looks human, because he's half human and half lich, he like ends up becoming an adventurer and working with humans, uh, and which is weird. It's a weird little story, but I thought that would be very fun, but it's not, and I was bummed about that because I was like, oh, this could be a fun premise. I'm doing all right. We are going to take a pause for the cause. We're going to pause our building as we finish this legs here, or the feet here, and then we're going to move on to the right leg. But because it's a little after 10 p.m., a thing that happens here on the old Build With Baer Workshop, which is what this is I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to all of you about ways you can support the channel. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego to the site, the moat in the chat. Let the people know. Becoming a subscriber is an easy way to support what I do. Of course, it's optional. All the things I'm going to be talking to tonight are optional. You don't have to do any of these things. But if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to. Being a subscriber, as I said, easy way. It's September, so you can save money both on your own subscription for first time, or if you want to gift a sub, you could save money on that as well. That is a thing you can do. It is optional. You do not have to do these things. But you could. You can also use your Prime Gaming token if you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch. You get that token. If you're not going to use it for me, please use it for someone. If you got that token, please use it. I would love it if you used it for me. But yeah, that is an easy way to support what I do. Again, you could join the Give Sub leaderboard. Bits and coins, always appreciated. You could join Bald Ridge and Herald on that. But, all these are optional. You don't have to do that. Just do this here. Great. Another way to support me is join my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. I have a $1, $3, $5, and a $10 tier. You could join that if you're so interested. Of course, completely optional. You don't have to worry about that. I have a YouTube. Joining my YouTube costs nothing, right? The old subscribe to the YouTube. But I do have membership on YouTube. And for $2 a month, you could become a member and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. That's a day early. So that is the thing you could do if you want to join that. Did you get the premium Bandai kits from the Gundam Online Expo event? I did not order any premium Bandai kits from Gundam Expo. I did order some premium Bandais previously this year. The Efret I have coming, which I ordered, I believe, at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, but I did not make any pre-orders at the Expo. There was some stuff that I was kind of interested in, but not enough to put up the money for them. Uh, like the RX, like the Char or the Zaku Hello Kitty Clear looked kind of neat, but that wasn't enough for me to do that. I'm going to get back into talking. This is just my ads pitch. I do it once a stream, so we'll get back into that. But it doesn't take too long for me to go through all my various ads. So as I said, direct donations another way. YouTube, you can do Patreon, you can do my Twitch subscriptions. Those are all ways to support me. Everything that I get through that goes into buying model kits and equipment. And as I said, I do have direct donations because I have to keep buying model kits and then build them on stream, which is fine. That is a fine thing. This is the life I chose. But if you want to support yourself, you want to. I have an Amazon wish list. Anything you buy on my wish list jumps the queue. So I'm working on the Strike right now. I will, once I finish with that Strike, if something from my wish list comes in the mail, I'll build that next. That gets priority over my own backlog. Lashbrook thought about the Banshee Nikes. They aren't going to be sold on sneakers sites, so I'm probably not getting them. But I just put written. I've just written the whole thing off. Yeah. Yeah, no. The whole Nike crossover doesn't do anything for me. Just doesn't. Um, Amazon wish list. So just put that into there. I have, if you buy something like that, I'll shoot a video about it. It jumps the queue. I have Lego sets on there, some cool Lego cars and various other things. I just put in, here's the thing I've never built. I've never built the Neko Busho line. That is a cute little cat that does not seem to belong where it is in some sort of mech or vehicle. It's a whole line. I put one up there, the treasure ship Neko Busho. I've never done that. Buso, I should say. I've never done the Neko line. I should. It's a cute cat that looks surprised to be in whatever mech it is. So I put one of them on my wish list because I'm like, how I've never built one of these. But yeah, I've got high grades, master grades, Lego, all kinds of different things on the wish list. Again, if you buy something off that list, it'll jump the queue and you get your own dedicated video about how I think it rules. And as a thank you. And alternatively, I don't have a wish list anywhere else, but you could go to USA Gundam Store. You could buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store and then send me a DM on Twitter because my DMs are open with that gift card code, and I will buy something from USA Gundam Store. That is the alternative I have to Amazon because it is nice to have an alternative. Oh, you got the V Gundam. Nice. Yeah, the titanium finishes I think look very cool in person, but that's not something that, like, for me anyway, is like, ooh, I gotta get that. I do think they look good. I mean, the high-res God Gundam I saw in person and is incredible. Like, I think that some of those finishes are fantastic. Um, so I think, like, yeah. Oh, and clears. Ooh, look, that was the one thing. The Exia Trans Am Clear, like, I do love a clear kit. I absolutely love. I mean, especially with the clear colors, like the like a, if you got like a red clear, oof, 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 completely love it. Sazabi, the Sazabi clear, like ruby clear, is unbelievable. That kit, that real great. Uh, the thing I love about Nekobusho is it looks like a toy, but then the cat looks realistic. Like the art style does not match. 100% T. That art style does not match at all. It looks like a cat from a different toy line that someone shoved into a mech. It's like you took your younger sibling's toy and was like, this cat is now a pilot of the mech I built out of Lego. It's kind of like that, which I think is great. Oh, you're not a big fan of the clear kits. I absolutely love clear kits. I think they look so neat, especially, like I said, clear color. Oof, that's so good to me. But yeah, if it's what your friend wanted, that's rad. All right. Let's get through me promoting myself because I got sidetracked by talking about cool shit, and then we'll get back into building and talking about anime because I do want to talk about anime. Um, my Discord is free to join if you want to support me in a free way. You can join my Discord. Always happy to have people check out the Discord. I post photos after every build stream. People post stuff they're working on or things they're excited about. That's fun. Last night I recorded a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club that goes up on Monday. The previous Pat Bear Anime Club, Pat Bear's Anime Club episode, which is on my YouTube, is me talking about the time I worked in an import store back in the 2000s. I worked a year and change at a store in the mall that had fan subs and wall scrolls and CDs and all that. And I kind of talk about that experience in there. It's a story time. If you were going to hear me talk about that particular period of my life, a weird period of my life. And then the best of Build With Baer comes out every Wednesday. The latest episode of that is just a clip from this streams. It's just a clip from streams. This happened pretty recently. It's me talking about the gut pack, the particular nonsense food thing called the gut pack, and me just like literally reading the ingredients in the gut pack and my thoughts on it. But that stood out as a moment of like, oh yeah, I want to clip that. And if you ever see something on stream you think is fun or weird or cool or interesting or embarrassing, I guess, you could always just clip the hit the clip that button. I always appreciate to see what other people enjoyed about the stream, if there are any moments. I already know what next week's is because it happened last night, and I think it's, I think it was worth talking about. Anyway, that's all I want to promote from there. That's all I want to talk about there. We're going to talk about some anime. I'm going to drink some water. We're going to start working on the right leg of this kit of the Strike Noir, the 2007 Strike Noir. We'll get that going here in just a moment. Get some anime, get the overhead going back, drink a little water. Excellente. All right, working on the right leg here. And we're going to talk about the anime. All three shows I'm going to talk about here are the last shows of of their season. We are getting at some point we'll get another season of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. We're also getting a movie coming out next year, so that's exciting because I'm a fan. So we're getting a movie, and then there's also going to be more of the anime because it's very popular. So that's coming. Just to talk ahead. Drugstore in Another World. I can't imagine we'll get another season of Drugstore in Another World. But maybe we will. I doubt it. I don't think that did particularly great anywhere in the world, but it's fun. And then there is going to be a second season of Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. We're getting a second season of that, and the end of that episode does indeed tease the second season. So that is coming, which I'm not super surprised about because that was apparently well received in Japan. Apparently did very good numbers on Japanese television. And there was a lot of isekai out this season, so I'm glad that they're going to make another season of that because some revelations are coming that I think are real good about that. I mean, they also said there's going to be a second season of Gensoki Setsu, what the Spirit Chronicles. And I was actually surprised they're going to do more Spirit Chronicles. But yeah, anyway, That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime. If you wanted to see Rimuru beat the ever-living shit and completely dominate and destroy Clayman, well, you should watch that this episode because holy shit, it fucking rules. The opening, which is like a, the opening theme for this second half of the season, which I've talked about a bunch and I really like, plays under Rimuru just being like, yeah, none of this is going to work. Yeah, I built a new barrier. I watched it happen once and then I could build this barrier you can't escape from. And of course, Clayman is a dead man. So theoretically, he should be, if he dies, he should be able to separate his soul from his body and then like come back. But that only works if you are killed instead of being assimilated and completely annihilated, both astrally and physically, which happens to him. Um, he also says that he has a client, and he, in his dying moments, does call out to Kazalim, who was the demon lord that he served, who had been killed by Leon uh, in a dispute. So now they're like, oh, is that demon lord back? That's weird. Anyway, Rimuru is accepted. He's the new demon lord. And now there are 10 demon lords, and the 10 great demon lords, he just replaced Clayman. That's great. They don't have to have 11 demon lords, because that would be awkward. Um, but it's not done there, because Veldora, who is not reading the room, like, he's like, hey, why is this fake vampire, like, talking to me? Like, who's this guy? That's not a demon lord. You're the demon lord. And it's a girl that's the attendant of Roy Valentine. And he's like, no. You're the demon lord. Luminous. And he's like, no, Luminous, like, faked her death, made Roy the puppet demon lord, and is also in charge of that religion. And, like, that's not common knowledge. Which, hey, Veldora's like, I didn't know you were hiding that. Sorry. Which I loved. Let's see. Both Freya and Carrion, who are demon lords, they're just like, hey, so that fight definitely proved to us that we should not be demon lords. Instead, we want to be the assistants or the subjects of Millium. And the anime doesn't say this, but I know from the manga that Millium is in the center and is bordered by both their kingdoms, so it would be easy for her to take over everything. And she's had like worshippers, but she's never had direct like assistants. So she's like, no, and they were like, yes, and then she was like, no, and they're like, yes, and she's like, okay, fine, do whatever you want, fine, sure, like, okay, great. Whatever you want to do. So that's it. So the big problem there is now there are 8 demon lords, and their title is the 10 great demon lords. So what are they gonna do? Well, they're gonna make Rimuru come up with a new name for the 8 demon lords, and he's like, the Octagram, the 8-star demon lords, which everyone is just like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. It's actually, I think, one of the funniest bits in the whole series up to this point, where they're all like, "Oh, we argued so much the last time." Like, they apparently all these demon lords fought forever to trying to figure out a name they all liked, and the name they came up was the 10 Great Demon Lords. Like, they fought so hard for a bad filler name, and they're like, "Okay, all right, yeah, good job." And he's just like, "Oh, okay." And then I hope you didn't care much for Roy Valentine, because he gets murdered by one of the clowns outside of this event. In a different event, he gets fucking murdered, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm sure that things will happen because of that. That'll set some things in motion. And then over the closing credits, we see Carrion reunited with his troops, and Millium's followers are there. Hey, Lysander, I'm talking about the last episode of the second season, the second half of the second season of That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime. Millium's followers are there. The Otherworlders that Rimuru saved are in a class. The kids, Yom, and Diablo are preparing to take over of that kingdom that fucked with Rimuru. And Rimuru returns to Tempest, and everyone's fucking psyched that he's there, because he came back, and he's a full-fledged demon lord. Cool. And then they're like, to be continued. And then on Twitter, directly after that episode, it was announced that there's going to be a movie. No more details to be followed. I don't know if it'll be a compilation or if it will I'm actually wondering if it will be stuff that got cut out of the light novel and manga, because there's like an adventure he goes on, um, that maybe like they just kind of skipped over, and it's not super important. But maybe they'll make that the movie, or it'll be a compilation movie before the third season starts. I don't know. I can't tell you what that movie's going to be because they haven't said. But there's going to be a movie. I could also see that stuff that got cut being like just OVAs or something, like to do that, because they did that. Some of the OVAs are canon, meaning that they come from the manga and the light novel, so they could possibly do that. I don't know if they will. But yeah, overall, the second half, like if you just watch the first half of season two, I could see being disappointed and then having to wait for the second half, which really kicked things off. But overall, it's a good show. I still really like it, even if it is gone from being a weird, interesting isekai to just a very good standard isekai. Um, I still think it's solid. There's still some laughs. There's still some very fun characters and good character interactions. Um, so I do think I do recommend it. Go back, and now you've got two double length series to watch. So there's plenty of anime and like five OVAs, three of which are very good, two of which are not particularly great. One's okay, one's bad, one's okay, and three are great. Um, anyway, I'm gonna move on to talk to you about the last episode of Drugstore in Another World: The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist, which I should tell you is a very cute um, slice of life with the trappings of an isekai. And when I say trappings, I mean that a guy got summoned to another world and then opened up a pharmacy and then hijinks ensue. And it isn't until episode 12, which is this episode, that we find out how he got isekai'd. And he has like a memory of it, which is kind of fun. But the premise of this episode is Reggie gets invited because Elaine, who is the daughter of the local lord, is throwing a big party. And everyone's invited. And so they have to go, and Reggie doesn't want to go because he was a lowly office worker in his previous life. And parties met because he was the low person on the totem pole, that he had to like make sure people had drinks and make sure the orders happened, and he never got to have any fun at parties. That's what parties remind him of. So he's like not psyched about going, but Mina's really excited about going. Mina is the ghost because up until very recently, she spent 100+ years trapped in that house. So now she gets to like go places and go with like the people that she likes, and so that's fun. Um, there's a couple potions that get made to help people. There's a whole party. A big part of this is that like he takes a nap and has a dream about the event that led to him being isekai, which is he was miserable. He was just had a miserable life, and he kept wishing for a different life. That was his big thing. He kept wishing for something to happen, and then he suddenly was in this world and realized that like, oh, I have magic abilities. Cool. I can make stuff. Okay, that's weird. And I can identify things. Okay. He's got appraisal, and he's got like basically making potions, like potion crafting. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. And then he comes across this big animal, this like wolf-like animal who is hurt. And he makes a potion for that wolf, and that's Noella, the wolf girl, that he saves her life, and then she's just like, hey, I'm going to pay back this life debt by helping you out. I'll protect you and help you out. And that's how they came together. And it's their origin, which is in the beginning of the manga. Like literally, it's like the first thing in the manga. Well, the first thing in the manga is him like trying to buy the store, and then as soon as he does, and then that's how they met. So it's kind of weird that they waited until episode 12 to do that, but it's fitting with the show, which is it doesn't matter that it's an isekai because it's a work, like a slice of life about a dude that owns a pharmacy with a ghost and a werewolf. Like that's all that's what the show is, so it doesn't matter that also these other things happen. Um, which I've always liked about it, that it's like, yeah, that happens, but whatever. Um, all right, so I got to put more of this on here. Put an armor on. We're doing all of one leg, and then we do all the other. Okay, so they go to a party. Everyone's really. Oh, also, we finally the part timer that works for him, Egil, who is also the young demon lord. Finally, his butler finds him and is like, "Oh, you work here? You got a job and you listen to someone? That's incredible. Thank you so much, Richie." Which was just like a nice little payoff for that. Um, anyway, they go to the party and everyone is fucking psyched to see Reggie because his potions are so popular, including the beauty potion that he made that is just like wrinkle like removing cream for like the noble ladies. So they're all very psyched about meeting Reggie, and that's kind of fun. Um, and then they at the end, Noella and Mina dance with Reggie, and it's cute and sweet. Um, I think if you're looking for a fine show, if you're looking for something like low maintenance, easy to watch, cute, um, I think that it kind of fails on one particular minor character and her mental illness. It doesn't make it a joke. It's not a joke for laughs, but they don't take it like seriously as they should in the first episode. But that character is barely in the show. It's a bad start. It's like a bad impression. But for the most part, the show has a lot of warmth and a lot of heart. Uh, Also, there's a minor character named Paula who I love. She's like my favorite because she's a shop owner uh, and she's just like good energy and good comedy. I think she's great. But yeah, overall, I think it's a fine, silly little show that I liked. Okay, so continue to work on our leg, and I'm going to talk to you about uh, Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, uh, which we ended on a big. It ended on a big ass cliffhanger, um, where our main dude Makoto was going to go and he was taking a teleportation circle so he could go to a city that has like a lot of scholars because he wants to learn more about the world and about magic. So he's going to take this teleportation circle. Well, the goddess interfered because we heard her laugh, and suddenly he gets sent to a different place, which is the battle that is about to erupt between the demons and the humans. Um, and in the very end of episode 11, he loses a couple fingers to an attack. His first time he's ever really taken damage to attack by two people who we find out later in this episode. Um, they are uh, they are human from this planet, this dimension. They are adventurers who have sided with the demons, and we don't know why they've sided with the demons. We don't get a chance to find out. But they think that he is one of the heroes that the goddess summoned. They're like, "You're definitely been summoned by the goddess," and he's like, "Stop fucking saying her name," because he was rejected by the goddess. And they're like, they're fighting, and it's this whole thing. And they're like, okay, well, we don't have to worry about this. Like, yeah, you've been able to beat us or fight us off, but you won't be able to once we remove the goddess's protection, because we have this ring that will block your protection. And now what are you going to do? And he's like, the goddess isn't protecting me. She cursed me. Because now they can actually understand what he's saying because they weren't able to before. They're like, I'm not afraid of, like, the goddess hates me. And they're like, wait, what? They don't understand. Anyway, Sophia and Lancer get their fucking asses kicked. And also, Makoto destroys most of the two armies that met in the fallout, which was not his intention, but he just kind of lost it and went nuts. And they think that maybe he's dead. They're like, oh, well, we think he's dead because he disappeared. It's fine. He's fine. Anyway, he makes plans. He's like, I'm still going to go do that. Lysander just subscribed with Prime. That's 45. Or sorry, what did I say? Lysander tweeted, just as Jam subscribe with Prime. So I apologize for that. Jam, thank you so much. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego the Site the Moat into chat. Thank you very much, Jam, for that. Appreciate it. Gonna throw it in there. Yeah, that curse where he isn't allowed to speak the pretty species languages. Yes. So then they can understand him because he can, he can speak that. And yeah, he was actually just stronger. Like that, he's not, he doesn't have the goddess's powers. But yeah, Jam, thank you so much. 45 months. That's an incredible length of time. Appreciate that. Thank you for consistent support. Thanks for being here as always. All right. We are almost done with this leg and we're going to panel line it. Anyway, the end of the episode, Tomoe was able to recruit some of the forest ogres who are just elves. It's a weird thing where they're elves who call themselves ogres. It doesn't make any sense. It's totally unnecessary. I don't know why it's included in the fucking thing. Anyway, they open the shop is opened, which is great, and there's some foreshadowing about future events. There's a reference to how the fact that there are other summons, and maybe we're going to know who those summons are in the next season, which has been announced. And oh yeah, the new fragment of Tomoe is now, she looks more like a Shinto priest than the warrior monk that the last one did. They never named that fragment, but this fragment's stronger and will live longer because she was also made of one of his rings, so she should be way stronger. And they name her, and her name is Komoe instead of Tomoe. Probably poor self-esteem. Maybe the goddess cursed the elves because she didn't like them as much. Yeah, I don't know. Basically the forest elves were just like, well, we're not elves. We're not really elves. We're yeah. So we call ourselves ogres, and it's just like, oh, okay. I don't know. No. We're not talking Elf Quest. We are talking about elves, but we're talking about. We just finished talking about an anime called Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, which had some elves in it because it's a fantasy anime about a dude that gets summoned to a different world. But the goddess that summons him is like, you are very ugly. I can't have you be around my precious humans. So she dumps him on the edge of the world and curses him so he can't speak the same languages as them, which is a lot. A lot happens with him. And he's like, I want to, my parents are from this world and they came to my world, came to Earth. So I'm going to walk their path as an adventurer. He meets all these demon or monster characters that all think he's great, and adventures happen. It's pretty okay. I would say overall feels like a pretty good show. I was happy to watch it. Not my favorite show this season. Pretty good. And that's the wrap up of the anime that I watched the past couple days. Yes, one of the Earth gods who is famous in Japanese mythology unlocks basically his powers, and he gets his blessings. Yeah, but also he because he's also he's an otherworlder, but because his parents were from here, he had magic which he never used because magic didn't work right in his world. So when he gets there, he's got abilities. Plus, he was blessed. Yeah. So he worked out. It worked out okay. That his curse is also he also has been blessed. He got lucky. But it's pretty good. Pretty good show. Not my favorite of the favorite of the Isekai this season because that is either how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom, which is fantastic. Final episode of that coming out on Saturday, or it is the second season of Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, because while there's like a part of that season that isn't great, there's a lot of it is excellent. So hopefully we'll see more of that. Well, we're getting the third season of that, so I'm excited for it because it's real good. It's just a really good show. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else? They put up the first episode in Britain of the new season or series, as they say, of Taskmaster, and I have not seen it yet. I have heard apparently the episode they put out online is the broadcast episode, so all the swearing has been bleeped, which usually doesn't happen on the online versions. So Greg Davies had to apologize on Twitter for that, and he's like, "It'll be better next time. Sorry." Uh, he said, "But I appreciate that all of you want me to swear, uh, or you miss the swears," which I thought was very funny. But I haven't seen it yet because I was doing stuff today, so I didn't get to it. Anyway, Taskmaster fucking rules, and there's a Taskmaster YouTube channel, so you can just watch a bunch of it legally. So just watch that legally. I don't know if the new episode's out yet, but it will be. Uh, um, which is always nice because sometimes you're like, I want to watch British television shows. I hope that they don't get taken off YouTube. Uh, but when they're legally there, it's pretty rad. All right, so I got to put a little brown on the back of this for the red here. And then we'll start on the other leg. We got one leg done. We won't get a lot done on this other leg, but we'll get some of it. Oh yeah, I didn't know about that. I'll give it a look. Yeah. There's Taskmaster is an incredible show uh, that I highly recommend. I've talked about it on stream before. There was a poor short series in the U.S. that Reggie Watts hosted that was very bad. Not because of Reggie Watts. One, I don't think Reggie Watts was a good host. He should have been the co-host. Um, Mostly, it doesn't work because most of the comics are not um, having a good time doing it. Uh, I mean, let's be real. Ron Funches is having a great fucking time, and Ron Funches should just be on the UK version. It would be fantastic. He's having a great time, but most of the other cast members are having a very bad time, and that show does not work well if people are unhappy, or if 4 out of 5 people are unhappy. That's a real bummer. But now the New Zealand series, oof, that's an excellent version. The New Zealand Taskmaster fucking kicks ass. It's so good. It's so surprisingly good. Um, uh, yeah, it's like remarkably excellent. Okay, so gotta do legs here. Okay. Um, Kind of like when they tried to do an American version of the Great British Baking Show. Yes. Oh yeah. Like, well, here's the thing, right? Yeah, you need people involved in it that want to be there in anything, right? I mean, there are seasons um, Taskmaster that aren't great because the balance of people being excited to be there isn't quite right, and like the host can feel it, and like yeah, Alex the assistant can feel it, and it's just like uh, it just doesn't work well. There have been uh, series for that haven't kind of kicked, but the most important thing is that like you can't do it mean. Like it doesn't work. And then the problem is America wants it mean. Not everyone, because obviously not everyone, but the belief, the expectation, the belief is that to sell a show in the U.S., it has to be either mean spirited or, at the very least, like making fun of people and like having a good time making fun of them. Like that has to be an element of it. Unfortunately, that is the perceived element. Um, I often talk about this show. Um, you've never seen it. It was uh, it was called Best Day Ever. It didn't air, they would have changed the name because that wasn't going to probably work because of Best Week Ever and all that. But this was a would have been a WB show. So you know what is now the CW, but it would have been a WB show. And the premise was it was a nice prank show, which I know you're saying, Pat, that there's no way that could work. Well, here was the idea, right? They would follow people around that they had like they would have somebody in on it, right? So they would like have like this person's wife is going to help us prank this person with like weird situations that come up. And if the people like go with it and have fun and like help people and like go out of their way to like do the things they need to do, by the end of the day, they'll have had an amazing day. Like the pilot of it, which they only shot, which never aired. I've seen it because a friend of mine worked on it. Um, uh, at the end of the day, the guy is on stage with his wife at a They Might Be Giants concert, and he's obviously a huge They Might Be Giants fan. So that was how like his best day ever ended. So it was a nice prank show, and the notes came back was no one's gonna watch this. Nobody wants to see this person they don't know succeed. And I didn't get to watch the updated pilot, but eventually uh, they made a pilot where they had comedians make fun of the guy as the day went on. Again, didn't air. This wasn't the original intention. This was well, what if this version where we're like really making fun of him? Like he still gets to have a good day, but also we get to like call him a dumbass. Um, uh, and it's a shame because like it was a funny idea. Now, I don't get roasting either. That's not my jam. That's not my thing. I'm not here for it. Never have been. But also, I don't like prank shows. But at least that prank show is like a fun thing and a cool story and a good time. But overall, it didn't happen. Now, this is also the same network that did that show. It was a one-off. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a prank show that was basically like a one-shot American Idol, but all of the contestants were bad singers, but they were all like convinced that like they were like told like, hey, you're going to be on the show and we're all excited for you and everyone's cheering for you. And and then the show is like, these people don't realize that they are bad at singing. And it's like, well, they must have some idea. They didn't know that the show was going to be insulting them about their passion and their dreams. That's a one-off. I never watched it because it was just like, fuck off. This seems mean as hell. Just seems so awful. But yeah. The T said, me watching a video game stream. Why do I want to watch someone succeed at this game? Exactly. Now, look, let's be real, right? It is fun. There are instances where it is fun to watch someone bang their head against a wall comically, right? If they are like in on the joke, right? Like part of the reason it's fun to watch Dark Souls style streams is somebody who's just like, for the first time playing, okay, we have to do this. Oh, I fucked that up. How would I know that? Oh, okay. Oh, shit. I took the wrong turn and now I'm dead. Like, that could be fun. But the big part of that is that people are in on it and they're aware, right? And yes, sometimes those people play it up because they are entertainers. They're entertaining, so they'll play up, like, getting mad and all that. But that's a choice. It's a choice between the streamer and the people watching, that it is agreement that it's like, hey, I'm going to bang my head against the wall on this game and get frustrated. If you don't want to watch that, it's okay. But sometimes, like a video, like as the T was saying, we watch a stream and we're I used to watch Kate Stark play PUBG because Kate Stark is fucking phenomenal at PUBG. She doesn't play anymore because not a lot of people do. Some people still do, of course. But she was unbelievably good at PUBG, and it was really fun to watch someone be very good at it who's also a really nice person and a good streamer, like a good host and entertaining person who also happened to be very good at the game. And it was very fun to like watch her. Like to give an example of Loading Ready Run, they do a lot of content. They do Minecraft streams. They still do Minecraft streams. It's still fun for them. There's some members of the group that enjoy doing Minecraft stuff, so they still do it. Part of the fun is, as they're doing all this weird nonsense thing, it's also really fun to watch James fall like into a hole, like out of nowhere. There's that moment where you're like, at any point, James could just fall and die as they're doing this silly thing. It's not intentional. It's just going to happen, and it'll be a fun moment. Um, but yeah, like another loading ready run thing is watch and play, where Alex doesn't know what video game he's going to play. He just comes into the stream, and video games have been prepared for him to check out, and they're terrible. They are terrible indie garbage that are like, like just weird, wacky, strange games, and he's going to, bang his head against it. He doesn't know what the games are. He's going to get frustrated by them. He's going to laugh at them and like have fun with it. And then also he's going to attempt to like break the game a little bit. And it's just that, but it's like this thing where everyone who's watching kind of has this agreement that like, look, we're not going to see great games on this stream. Maybe there's a diamond in the rough. Maybe there's a game that's so bad it's actually good, and we'll find that. And if they do find that, they're not going to pretend they don't like it. They're going to be like, revel in the fact that like, oh shit, we accidentally found a good one. Cool. And it's pleasant, but you like, there is an agreement there that everyone who's watching the stream is on board with the idea that like, hey, we're gonna it's garbage day. We're gonna play some bad games here and like do our best to have a good time playing these bad games. And that's why like the mean-spirited stuff where it's just like, hey, we invited a bunch of people to this art gallery. Psych, it's not an art gallery. We're gonna spray them with water. And it's just like, why? Why would you do that? Why are you being mean for no reason? Why are you being mean to people? What's happening right now? Oh, you thought this was a job interview? It's not a job interview. This is for television. Sign this form so we can include how we were being mean to you. Does anyone remember Boiling Point? The MTV reality show that was filmed in New York, that a bunch of my friends were on because they couldn't say no to MTV, poor MTV money. They would set up situations where people would, where there would be like, how long can this person go before they get mad? How long can we bother and torture this person before they finally hit their boiling point? And then we present them with money. And you get more money the longer you get mad. Somewhat famously, there is, because they filmed it in New York, there is an NYU student who they bother on that show, named Stephanie, who would later become Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, as an NYU student, is just bothered on an MTV show, and it's kind of funny that it happens. But yeah, Boiling Point. A cast member on the show who will remain nameless because I don't think they were supposed to tell me about it, did indeed tell me about a time, one instance where they were bothering someone at a gas station, and that person flashed a gun at, basically pulled up his shirt to reveal that this person who was being harassed and bothered had a gun, and the person who was bothering them, who had an earpiece in his ear saying, like, telling him to continue, was just like, here you go, you win $100. You don't even have to sign anything. Basically, it was just like, hey, we're doing this dumb thing, sorry about that, here's $100. Well, Lashbrook, they weren't thinking that anyone was going to get violent, which is foolish of them and terrible. It's terrible of them to not think that, to not plan for that inevitability that someone is going to respond to that, or the perceived response to be violence. Yeah. But again, I can't say who that was because I don't think they were supposed to tell me that. But it was a cast member on that show. But yeah, they'd have a thing where they'd have like a large man would like jump into a hot tub where there were ladies, because they went to spring break to do it. And so like a large man would jump into a hot tub and then like, blow bubbles with his mouth in the water. Will you get out of the hot? Oh, well, last one to get out of the hot tub wins $100. Oh yeah, no, Lysander. So there was a bunch of stuff they couldn't use because they were just pranking people. That the premise of that show was just that they were pranking strangers, and the longer you could go without knowing you were on it, the more money you got. And then someone had to show up with a release, and the reason why people signed the release was to get the money because which is fucked. It's all of Boiling Points was fucked, including the fact that you had to sign the release to get the money for being bothered on the show, which was their solution to how do we get people to sign the release? Oh well, we'll give them the money once they do. Um, Reminds me of the time I went to Canada and watching TV and saw someone that truly made me realize I'm in our country. Okay, but yeah, there was it was one of those TV prank shows, and the prank was a couple getting pulled over by a cop, and the passenger who was in on it would take the ticket and tear it up and get in an argument with the cop. Yeah, that feels very like that does not feel like a thing that would happen on a yeah, no. Yeah, no. That's yeah, no, no, that is a that does not seem like a thing that you would see on an American prank show. Maybe you would. I don't know, but yikes. Yikes is right. I think yikes is the proper response. Yikes in Christ is what we're seeing in chat. Yeah, no, I think all of that seems very bad. Anyway, we're almost done with this leg, and we're going to come back to it and finish it up. I'll probably finish this up and panel line it off stream, and then we're going to work on the waist because we got to put that together, and we'll work on the backpack that is also the weapons, and we'll do that, and some of the weapons and the weapons. I don't think we're going to finish this up on Saturday, but we're going to get maybe body complete on Saturday. We might get to the body complete part, but we made a lot of progress tonight. It took longer than I thought to do the shoulders, and like I said, I don't think I did these properly, so I'm going to like look at it again, see if I can figure that out. But anyway, we made some great progress. It's not over yet because we still have to raid. That's how we end every stream, is that we go on a raid, because that is the best way to share the love, is to go and find somebody out there who is streaming that we know, or at least I know, and do a raid. So we're going to do that. Again, my next stream is on Saturday, where we will hopefully get body complete here, and then we'll get ready to do more of the kit. Let's see, who's doing some stuff. We never get a chance to raid that often. My friend Lunar Jade, aka Heather. Heather is streaming right now. She is playing Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So we're gonna go give Lunar Jade a raid here in a second because she rules. Heather is fantastic. You have a great night. Everyone have a great night. I'm gonna go. We're gonna raid. Heather is awesome. We raid her on occasion. But yeah, we're going to go give her a raid. So feel free to come along on this raid because it'll be nice to go hang out with Heather. I'll see you on the next stream on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.